Okay, it is January 29th, 2026, believe it or not. I'm here in my studio, Studio 1 at 1653 18th Street, 18th Street Art Center, and I have the great pleasure of being with Stephen. And Stephen, we don't usually deal with last names. State your last name?
My last name is Siemens.
Siemens. And Stephen is sort of one of the main people who works with the post-production company Post-Mongo, who's headed by Sean, the lovely Sean. And we've had many lovely bits and pieces of conversation. I think you and your partner came in and visited the studio once. You were not available during the holidays when I was doing a lot of my little ad hoc interviews for the Sanctuary installation in the Atrium Gallery here. And I'm thrilled that you want to have a little chat today. You are in a piece, an installation that I call The Womb. And it's essentially jute cord that is tied on, wrapped around and tied onto a rather flimsy hula hoop structure that I created a number of years ago with the interest of wondering what it would be like to create something purely with cord and string. I've loved, working with cord and string, with books and stitching and gluing and so forth. But I'm also very interested in what do we really need to create a space, and is a space, how much more than a state of mind is a space and a place. So you are inside the womb. I always think, wow, it looks scratchy. And I guess we don't really know what the womb was like, but, we have the interactions with our mother who provided the womb. There's nobody that gets out of that without a few scratches here and there on one side or the other. So you're not, whoever's looking at this, you're not seeing Stephen completely. I will ask him to sort of part the strands in a little while, but what I'd love to hear is a little bit about you and your work, even where you're from, and your engagement with 18th Street, and perhaps a little bit about your meditation practice, because I know that's just, you can definitely feel, Stephen, when you interact with you, that there's a real calm focus, and I just love seeing you. I always feel a little bit transformed afterwards. And I know you just got back from India, where you were on, it sounded like a kind of retreat. So why don't I zoom in a little bit? Why don't you just part the strands for a moment? I have two moves, filming and zooming. So I'm going to zoom. And there's Stephen, the beautiful Stephen. Okay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to leave it to you, Stephen, if you want to hold those open or if you like being more enclosed. There isn't a beginning, middle, and end really with this piece. It is a circle.
Yeah. Well, I will acknowledge the space here because on one hand I do feel protected, always nervous to be on camera and maybe just have any conversation to be a little nervous, but I am in a space that is a little bit removed from the interview. Not that I'm not present for it,
Sure.
but there's some protection in here, as many gaps as there are in that protection.
I just want to interject. It's fascinating that you work on the other side of the camera.
Yes.
So you're not in front of the camera.
I enjoy being in front of the camera when I can act, and when I've had just really like one or two opportunities, really one that I could think of to sink my teeth into a role, and that meant a lot to me.
Nice.
Really, there's a lot of catharsis in it for sure.
Fantastic.
A question was posed about my work, and that is on movies and films and commercials, doing visual effects professionally. I also animate as an artist.
Oh, wow.
I draw. I like drawing on like kind of I like drawing on old looking paper and really large format, and then scanning that in and animating everything digitally. So
So
yeah,
skilled.
oh, thank you. But yeah, my work and my maybe speak to what I do specifically professionally, and kind also my connection to 18th Street, because I'm from California. Grew up in California. Was born in Riverside, and I have been in California except for a little bit of short stints elsewhere. But one of those stints was in 2016. I went to a master's degree out in Iowa, at David Lynch School of Cinematic Arts.
Really? That must have
And
been fascinating.
it was quite an opportunity, and I wasn't thinking of higher. What is it called? A
Conscious?
master's degree,
Right.
or
Education.
yeah. I wasn't thinking of extending my education beyond what I had, but it was such a unique opportunity to have a consciousness-based education in this program. But actually, the program director, Michael Barnard, of that program, has a very long history with 18th Street.
Yes.
He also has a relationship with Sean Finley, who was mentioned in passing by you, Deborah, who, I mean, let's see, keeping on track.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't worry
so,
about that.
but just to say that it was directly because Michael connected me with Sean, and I kept in touch with Sean through the program and showing him what I could do with visual effects. Like, to get specific, for my short film project, that I was directing out there in Iowa, a young girl was in this role, and it was a scene between her and her mother, and it was quite a scene with a lot of healing. Really, their last scene together, and the actress was so emotionally engaged, and tears, and just so emotional, and literally had this huge strand of snot coming from her nose. And I loved the performance, but thought that out of politeness, and because I had the skill set, I was gonna repaint in the area where that snot was. So it was just like an application of what I was there to do. Really, I went to that program because I knew it was time to get into visual effects professionally.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Michael Barnard with a history here at 18th Street. He had him having a history with Sean. It's amazing that we now actually took over his space, and that's why just a few doors down from where we are right now is where I get to work every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Michael's great, and he's a wonderful presence here around 18th Street.
yeah.
When he
Probably
comes
still
out
feel
of
one in
his
the studio,
when he comes out of his
but-
office, his workspace.
But yeah, so and I guess the work I do, visual effects. I certainly, there have been times in the past. I mean, I've been in kind of post-production and marketing videos for a while, but similar to a skill set within myself, which I mentioned, which is drawing, I do definitely feel like there is something about people who draw, and that as a person who hires, if I know that someone draws, there is an interesting there's something about artists who draw that is kind of like such a good how that translates if they take their skills and do a highly technical sense, and the nerdy technical artistry the visual effects is combined with that skill set. I think that really makes for a powerhouse. So
You mean drawing analog?
yeah, being able to draw analog maybe as a kid or whatever growing
Yeah,
up.
having the feel, right?
Yeah, maybe I'm just maybe I'm actually off topic just in regard to what just from myself, like I'm kind of speaking about drawing as a kid and still drawing today.
Right.
How it was such a sensical progression to where I landed, doing what I'm doing in a field that is something that requires so much care, attention, and is right there at the end of the line of making a movie. It's so near the end, and it's like it's the finishing touches. It's all the magic that it takes to make something. Sometimes it's doing things that were sometimes we're doing stuff that was the intention from the beginning. We knew that it was going to need to be visual effects. Sometimes it's saving the day and making something happen that wasn't planned for, but a director needs this to happen to call their movie done in their mind.
Right.
So yeah, I think just kind of my sense of aesthetic from a friend in high school getting me involved in movies to learning to animate, and it's just my field makes the work I do on the daily every week makes just so much sense in my life, this part of my journey, for sure.
And I think too, we've been watching this program called, I think it was The Studio. It's about Hollywood. It's a bit of a send up, but I wonder if it's not really super true. And the tensions and the pressure and the money involved and just all the personality things that come up. I would imagine that your meditation, I mean, who wouldn't want you around? I know you're working alone in a studio, but still you are, if you're finishing something up that's high stakes, you have to have some perspective so you're not just caught up with the tension of it all, I imagine you can achieve that, you probably work towards that with your practice.
I'd love to speak to my practice a bit, yeah, and maybe get into a bit of what spirituality is, but to me,
Sure.
us all maybe, but perhaps maybe I'll just actually an example comes to mind. Sometimes things are so last minute. It's just, and that is sometimes how I operate. Things are just like literally using every minute and somehow bringing the work of 3 artists, little changes at the last minute, everything administration, communication wise with the producers, the team, to bring everything together like just in the nick of time.
Right.
So it's like this subconscious process of managing all this stuff for and I just recall this one particular time we were working on a Christmas movie, a Spanish from Spain Christmas movie, and it's just like we had this we were going to deliver by this certain time this batch of shots that we were doing, and it was very important right near the end of the process, and I just I totally I was just witness to everything going on in my brain, and switching between artist, administration on the client side, administration with my boss's side, trying and also, so there's that creative side, there's the pulling everything together and the technique, making the deliverables, and it was just it's just such a visceral memory of like watching that brain switching happening so quickly, and it was that perhaps speaks to some aspect of what spirituality is, and which is just that was a moment of just witnessing, maybe at that time, hopefully it's not the limits, but kind of everything this vessel can pull together, and it's just being in front of a computer and using my phone, but really it was kind of like without blowing up, I was like at I was using every skill in
every pixel.
Well, yeah, everything in this every pixel of this body and mind, what it can do. That was many years ago, that program I went to in Iowa, that's where I learned transcendental meditation, and it's very important. That program for me was the most perfect incubator for meditating twice a day, 20 minutes each session. For me, and obviously I acknowledge the power of that process. I've now chanting, and actually when I went to India, I'll say it this way, I did put on my passport that I was a Hindu, and that created just a nice, lovely interaction of with the Indian customs agent of I see you're a Hindu, and we talking about Hinduism for a bit and what that means, and on one hand I didn't know if I was kind of being grilled in some way, tested as are you going to
Who
hold me back
knows?
from
Yeah.
not entering the country? But very quickly I realized, oh, it was just a lighthearted conversation while he was doing the administration stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not. Maybe this is also speaking to my mother at the same time that I can't say I'm not a Christian at the same
Right.
time as well. I just Hinduism is not. It's not as
Like mutual exclusive.
It's inclusive and
Right.
exactly and yeah, but
I know you're trying to put the
Yeah.
Pacific Ocean through the kitchen sink, but don't get frustrated. I think this has been just a really amazing snapshot, and you've touched upon your engagement with 18th Street, but also I think one of the most interesting parts of the interview is the pulling together of all those parts as evidenced by that anecdote. You know, I mean, that was very, very salient, where I mean, some people would say, you know, wearing all these hats, but I think it goes a lot deeper than that. You brought in so many levels to what you were trying to achieve. And how did you feel after that experience? Were you exhausted or exhilarated or relieved or?
oh yeah, it's like and that experience kind of speaks to so many experiences of the relief of making it on time, feeling like I'll say it this way, feeling like we as a company saved the day. However, also the spiritual process of like recognizing what part of my ego is receiving this,
Right.
and maybe constructing something that ought not be fed. So yeah, I guess that was years ago, and so but those experiences happen often, and so yeah, after delivering and having a client is happy and had a really good experience working with our company, it's my I mean I don't think my ego really eats that as fully. It's
Right.
I just kind of there's an easier moving on than
Right.
maybe years ago. Yeah, it was like I might have gone on a walk and
Try to expel the pent up energy, the
Yeah.
tension.
But also, yeah, I like saying, "Oh, I'm the shit. I'm the shit." But really, it's like, oh, like really watching that, like that's, and so,
What the experience is sort of in service of. But there's nothing wrong with feeling great about an achievement or that moment of just exhilaration of pulling it all together,
yeah,
as far as I think.
and maybe I'm maybe in this moment now. Well, I mean, maybe I'm actually saying I'm bringing more attention than I actually put on where my ego goes.
Right.
But there is a truth to that within me that if I hadn't found spiritual practice, no telling how far what a detriment my ego could have been causing this vessel.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What a journey. Well, thank you so much, Stephen and Sean and Post Mongos and 18th Street are so lucky to have you. I'm so thrilled, ongoing, grateful to be having you as a neighbor and to just be able to bump into you now and then and kind of experience your calm and your kindness. And believe it or not, we're at about 19 minutes right now, which is great. I'm going to send this to you.
Okay, I'll give it a minute and then I'll.
Yeah, I mean, you are welcome to edit it. This is going to be these videos have been the raw footage, unadulterated as it were, unedited. But you can watch it at different moments and just sort of see how you feel and what you sort of learn from it. And as I like to finish up, even though we're not in the sanctuary, the no safe space construction or iteration, I'd like to say, may you know safe space, whatever that means to you.